Hey guys, real quick, I'm adding an intro correction here. In the beginning, I say June 18th. However, this is for June 17th and the next 24 hours. Forgive me, I'm a little bit of a hot mess right now, but Storytime will clear that up and get you all caught up with what's going on. So this is for the 17th, even though I said happy birthday June 18th. So happy birthday June 17th, babies. Hello, good morning, happy birthday to all of the June 18th babies out there. We're going to see what message is coming up here for the next 24 hours. I will say, guys, those of you who are into more than just the card, I'm going to share some stuff with you guys here at the end for those of you who want to stick around for that. We had a disturbance in the force last night when I was recording the reading, and then I had a disturbance in the force this morning. So there's some messages here I want to share with you guys about that. But first I want to pull the card of the day and see what the message is for everyone, and then we'll get into the Dear Diary stuff. What message is coming up here for all those drawn here for the next 24 hours? 10 of Cups. Good gosh. Today I'm the one saying I sure hope so. I'm always like, somebody's out there like, I sure hope so. Don't worry. Don't give up. Oh, guys, I have a story for you. Okay. 10 of Cups. So 10 of Cups kind of gets typecast in tarot as marriage and babies. Okay. And that can definitely be something, and I know a lot of people have a very, very strong longing and desire for that, and there's absolutely, positively nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you weak or you know, needy or emotional or anything. It's a normal human desire to want to have a partner and a family and procreate and, you know, and all that good stuff. So some of you may be really wanting to manifest this, and this might be something that you have very strongly in your heart, and the 10 of Cups can be coming up to give you confirmation and say it's very nearby. Okay, closer than you realize. The thing about this card, however, it has an overall meaning of complete and total fulfillment, contentment, and inner peace. So it's really basically like a happily ever after card. And not everybody's going to have the same exact happily ever after, right? Some of you already did marriage and babies, and those babies grew up and they're gone living their life. And you're like, now what? Some of you absolutely positively do not want marriage and babies. You know, so people have a different happily ever after. And the 10 of Cups is that happily ever after card. Like all areas of your life are full and you're content and satisfied with them, and there's a sense of inner peace. And so the 10 of Cups comes up to tell us that this is coming here. This is on the way. I do feel for some of you there is something that is being healed and released from your paternal side that's been blocking you. Okay, whether your dreams have been stifled because of romantic blockages or financial blockages, or some of this might be some stuff that has come into your spiritual DNA through your paternal side of the family. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of healing happening for a lot of you, a lot of release happening for a lot of you around that kind of stuff. You may even have a lot of dreams, you know, your relatives or ancestors from your father's side, your loved ones who've passed on, they may be coming through with messages. You may be feeling them very strongly around you as they're giving you encouragement and guidance as you're navigating this release that some of you are going to be experiencing, clearing blockages and things that have been passed on to you from your father's side. Yeah, and so if you are somebody who's like sensitive to angels and to like your guardian angels and when loved ones who've passed on kind of visit or let us know that they're around, you may be getting a lot more visitations. You may be feeling them, sensing them, helping you. Okay. So again, Ten of Cups is happiness and fulfillment in every area, every aspect of your life. Inner peace. There's going to be a lot of remembering also. I feel like a lot of you, the release is coming through remembering. And Ten of Cups is saying happiness, 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 happiness. Some of you may have had high hopes for a situation last month, like back in May, but you gave up on it, or you began to feel like, you know what, this isn't going anywhere, it's not going to happen, and you may kind of have left, you let something go, or you gave up on something back in May. And I feel like this is going to resurface and begin to move forward, right? Whether this is an interview you went on, or a property you put a bid on, or somebody that you felt a connection with and they didn't do anything, whatever it might be. I feel some of you had really high hopes back in May, and you're like, this is it, this is it, this is it. And it was just very, very uneventful, right? Like nothing came of it. It may be resurfacing in, June, July, and beginning to move ahead. And you're like, oh, okay, wow, I thought I was barking up the wrong tree, or I thought this was, done. But no, I feel like some of you are pleasantly surprised by something resurfacing and beginning to move forward here towards the Ten of Cups. The deer is jumping out at me, and the deer is a message of protection, like angels are near, and you may be protected from somebody who has bad intentions towards you. Somebody who is like a hunter, or like looking at you as a means to get ahead, or like they just want to take advantage in some way. There's a protection here for some of you with this deer. You're being protected from a situation. So, that being said, just know and be aware, right, that your angels and guides are helping you, and they're guiding you and helping you to make the right decisions here. This little fish just jumped out at me. How funny. How funny. I've used this deck a long time. Well, not a long time, but you guys have been seeing it on the channel. It's not new. And Ten of Cups has come up before when I used it, but I never noticed there. Kind of like the Page of Cups. Little fishy jumping out of the cup. It just jumped out at me. It just jumped out at me. I want to take a closer look here. Okay. So I feel here too, like some of you may be overcoming some difficulty with fertility, right? Those of you who've been trying to conceive naturally, you may be overcoming issues with fertility, or you might say, oh my gosh, here's the miracle baby, it finally happened, I don't have any children, but I know people who've tried for kids for a long time, 1 year, 2 years, sometimes longer, and then it's like, oh my gosh, after so long of trying, finally, here comes a baby. Some of you might be having that kind of a situation, but specifically what I feel around the fertility here, with this little fish in the cup, is I feel there's something here about cleansing or detoxing the body. Like there could be some kind of substance. So maybe you're like, okay, I'm not going to put any alcohol in my body. I'm not going to put any kind of, self-medication type stuff in my body. I'm not going to put anything processed in my body. I'm going to stay away from preservatives and chemicals. And so some of you might be taking a really, really like, an approach like towards like food and diet, and like eating really, really clean. And you may see that, that is beginning to pick up And there could be here some of you conceiving here shortly. Maybe not in the next 24 hours, but you may take steps in the next 24 hours that gets that into motion for you. Okay, so the story that I kind of wanted to say, I just wanted to share this. Okay, I kind of had to pause here and like gather my thoughts. First and foremost, I want to say the reason why I want to share this story is because I feel it might be beneficial and helpful for some of you, and to kind of help you understand the way messages might come up, okay, and like what they mean. I've talked about false alarms and things like that on my channel, and yesterday's card of the day was about commitment, right? Like, it's time to make a commitment. And so I pull a card for you guys, right? And sometimes they resonate for me, sometimes they don't. A lot of the times there is a lesson in it for me as well. And so today I had to make a commitment. Okay, so now here let's get into the story. There was someone that I was dating a while back, and we've stayed in touch, and we've been friends, and I'm not, excuse my language, I'm not gonna shit on this man. I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. I'm not gonna put him down. He has been very amazing and very kind and very generous to me in a lot of ways. But there have also been some lines crossed, or one specific line for me that was crossed, that I cannot forgive or accept it. And like, I cannot give like a romantic forgiveness. Like, I cannot give a forgiveness where like I can lay down with this person again, like that. No. But you know, this is still someone that I can see as a human being. This is someone that I can see as, like, you know, my brother in this human existence, and I can have a lot of love for him. But it's not a romantic situation, okay? And I think for him, he goes back and forth about what it is. And I may have done some things recently just by extending kindness that maybe left the impression that I was trying to get something going again, but I was just trying to be a friend and do a kind deed. So this morning, he showed up at my place, and he pulled up in a way that just, my nerves just, oh my gosh, like, it was just very loud. I heard the car, the way he pulled up. I looked out the window, Max ran to the door, and Max was just very confused, because he's like Max didn't like the energy either, but he's like, but this is a friend, like, this, I know this, like, this is uncle, you know. But he was looking at me like, Mom, what do I do, like, do I go out there, do I bark, he seemed very confused. And then so I opened the door, and he ran out before I could even get out there, and he's just like barking, and he's doing his stay back bark, and he just stayed there in the driveway, the guy did, and I could just see him. He's like, I could just see, like, he's contemplating, like, how is this transaction gonna go? How is this? I just got a feeling, or it was such a confrontational way that he pulled up. We did have some not unfinished business, but he wanted to give me money for something, and that was like one of the things that, like, we had gone back and forth about it. I was like, don't worry about it, you know, I can get it from you later or whatever. And so I kept saying, hey, what's going on? Like, I wasn't expecting you there. And he's like, he's not answering me. And I could just see him, like, standing there, like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And I just got such a bad feeling about it. Thankfully, everything went peaceful, and he didn't say whatever he was going to say. He asked me a few times, like, so what's going on? Like, what's, like, as if, like, there's something, like, I have to tell him. Um, I just felt like he just came to see who was over here, if I was by myself, like he had heard something. And so I meditated about that. And I just basically got that I'm not sure what it was, but something exaggerated had reached him. And so he kind of wanted to confront me like I was playing games or something. But as I said, this is someone that I've only been friends with. But when I came back inside, I just started sobbing and I could not figure out like why. Like, why am I crying? Why am I crying so hard? Why am I having this reaction to it? And poor Max. Max hate like he's seen me cry a couple of times and but he freaks out. So like now of course he's glued to me. He's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? He's like worried. And so it's gonna take him a while to like relax again. But I couldn't figure it out and I like called my mom. I'm like, Mom, why am I crying? I can't figure out why I'm crying. And she told me what I already knew, obviously. She's like, you have to just kind of check in with yourself and just kind of, ask yourself questions and um, figure out, you know, what's triggering you or like what's bothering you. And so once I could like kind of just get the crying out of my system, I did something that's called going within. And so I want to share that with you all because it might be helpful for you. You just sit with the question, and sometimes it can be helpful to write out the answer. This time I didn't do any writing because it just all started coming to the surface. But sometimes maybe it's more helpful, like if you haven't done it before, if you're not used to it, it can be helpful to write down the question and then just sit there with the question and wait for the answer to pop up in your mind. Just whatever it is. Don't force it, just sit there. Doesn't matter how long it takes, and then you write down the answer that came up. So I kept asking my question, like, why am I crying? Why am I crying? Why am I crying? And the answer that came was because I don't live here anymore. Because I don't live here anymore. And so I kind of like explored that a little bit more and did more like going within. And I guess I felt bad because it was just this state of like, I'm not here. Like he's coming here, but I'm not here. Like I'm gone. And I think some of it is I do feel like I'm going to end up moving again. I don't know where, I don't know how, but I do feel like spirit is moving me out of here. But like just the sense of like it's too late or it's done, and then feeling guilt about that, right? Feeling guilt about saying no to somebody or not wanting somebody or like putting up that boundary and like this is my space and because this is someone who's been very generous with me, but the issue that I have where I'm drawing the line and I'm saying no, like there's that voice in my head, right? Like the voice you hear growing up where it's like, oh, come on, but they're so nice to you. Oh, come on, but they did this for you. Oh, come on, but they did that for you. Oh, nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. You need to learn to forgive. And you can forgive, but you don't have to accept certain behaviors in your life. And like I said, I'm not going to shit on this man because there are many, many wonderful things about him. Many, many wonderful things about him. But there's something I cannot accept, and I have to have the right to be able to say, I can't accept that. Like, I can accept you as a friend, I can accept you as a human being, but I can't accept you romantically. I have the right to be able to say that. But it's like giving myself the right, and I have to make a commitment to myself because when I love so hard, right? And it's so easy for me to put other people ahead of me, or feel bad or just, oh, I can understand why this person is like this. And, but I have to make the decision that I'm gonna love myself more, right? I have to love myself more. And it was just, it was a very difficult thing to process, and then like just processing the guilt that goes with it, because in a lot of ways I do feel like this is someone that my family would be very, very happy to see me with, right? Even later, my mom texts me and she's like, oh yeah, you think about this and try, and maybe you can, so she's like, texting me, like giving me advice, like to get past this and to make it work. But I I have to have the right to have certain things that I can't accept, and not feel bad just because somebody is kind or nice in other ways. We kind of had that message that came up yesterday, right, about the love language, that we can decide how we want to receive love. And meanwhile, somebody being very charming and generous is wonderful. Who doesn't want to go on trips? Who doesn't want to, stay in really nice, fancy hotels? Who doesn't want to, have nice presents? All that is great. But, it's not, for me, it's not my priority. And if I feel mistreated in another way, or if I feel unsafe or uncomfortable in another way, I have the right for that to trump over all the other fancy stuff. I have the right to say, hey, all this stuff is great, but I'm not comfortable with this aspect of things, or I don't feel safe in this situation, or that really made me feel like shit, right? And I didn't like that. I have the right to be able to have that line, right? Draw that line. And I guess I felt bad, kind of like there's this voice in your head, like, or this voice in my head, like, like I'm being mean, or, I should be so lucky, because I can tell you right now, there are women in line in several states to be with this guy, and who am I? I'm some, chunky little, at best average looking middle-aged woman, right? Like, here I am, like, not wanting that from him. So as I said, it's just like this commitment to myself that I have to give myself permission to do that. And I have to give myself permission to disappoint people around me if I'm not picking the person that they would like to see me with, or if I'm not choosing the life that they want me to have. Also, another thing that I want to share with you guys over time eventually is and this is deep. So this is gonna be a while before I can piece this together, but I think some of you need it. Is I don't even know. I don't even know where to start this. Like, every relationship that I've had, I have a relationship where I'm on good terms with people that I've dated, or exes that I've had. I have guys in my life that I'm still on good terms. But, there's always a couple of people that we consider, or maybe 2-3 people out of however many, that we might say, oh, I really loved that person. I really, really, that person, I loved that person. Every man I've loved has tried to unalive me at some point in the relationship. And it was never in the moment of, like, fighting or arguing. It was always like this nightmare situation that came up out of nowhere, right? Like, I didn't see it coming, okay? I'm talking about, like, laying in bed, going to sleep, and the person rolling over and basically letting you know that they're going to unalive you right now if you can't give them a good reason why they shouldn't. And you don't understand what happened, because there was no argument, there was no fighting. I'm talking being in a car on 441, speeding with someone that has a knife in the car, telling you what they're gonna do to you. And these are different relationships, mind you. How did that start? On 441, My ex-husband came home from work, just going nuts, and he went after his sister. And she was like 14 at the time. She was young. And I got in between them, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. She's just in the kitchen, making herself something to eat. I don't know why you're mad at her, but like, talk to me about it. Leave her alone. And he just starts screaming at me, to get in the car. And we were gone for a few hours, and I'm just trying to talk him down. I'm trying to calm him down. I don't know what happened. I have my suspicions. I think he was using substances and stuff. But again, it came out of nowhere. Like, I'm talking about situations where, like, I'm calling my mom to say goodbye, but trying to be calm so that she doesn't know something is wrong. Like, sending out text messages, hey, I love you, like, because I feel like this is it, I'm gone. And it just, all that stuff came to the surface. And so, it's just understanding, doing the processing, like why has this come into my experience? Why have I had these experiences? Why have I loved these kinds of people? And, I think I just realize now that, like, in my bloodline, in my lineage, the men in my lineage, I'm not going to say that they are violent, right? I'm not going to say that we have situations of domestic situations or anything like that. Growing up in my household, my father was a preacher. He was very strict, but he never ever, like, came after my mom. They never had intense situations like that. Like, he's never harmed my mother, anything like that. But I also feel like my father really tried hard to break cycles and things that he had witnessed. But that's still in my lineage. That's still in my bloodline. And my relatives growing up, and like the men in my life and the men that I've been around as a little girl were very complicated men. My grandfather, I love him dearly. He was a very complex man. And there's a lot of things about this guy that pulled up on me this morning, like looking at what's going on, who's here, am I here by myself? He reminds me so much of my grandfather. There's so many things about his personality. And so it just, everything came to the surface about like unpacking that and like unloading that and everything I've been through till now. And it's so much easier to say no to somebody that you know isn't good for you when you have somebody else, right? You can say, well, I'm in a new relationship now, or I've moved on, or I'm not going to break up with this person, or I'm not going to cheat on my new partner. But it can be very difficult to say no to somebody who's being very persistent, very kind, and somebody whom there's a lot of other people that want this person. I just want to share this with you guys because I see situations like this sometimes in the private readings, and I know a lot of people have a hard time saying no to someone when there isn't somebody else in your life. But you have to make a commitment to yourself about how you're going to be treated, about how you're going to be loved, and commit to yourself to do the work, right? It could have been very easy for me to just kind of try to shut off today, maybe smoke some herb, binge eat, and just kind of escape it. But like, I had to commit that, no, I'm going to work through this. I'm going to work through this, right? I'm going to take my own advice. I'm going to let the feelings come up. I'm going to find ways to give myself that emotional self-care and like process it and comfort myself through it. And so I just want to share it with you guys. It's personal, but I get so many messages from you guys about how much the readings have been helping you. Even some of you have never scheduled a private reading with me, that just watching the videos help you. And I know a lot of the times I say things and there's people who are like, oh, it's total BS. It's total BS. You don't know how hard it is. I'm not here to compete with people, but I might know that it's a lot harder than what you're telling me it is. I might have experienced it a lot harder than what you're telling me. And there are people out there who have experienced it harder than me, but I just I just want to say, everything that I'm saying, everything that I'm sharing, I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is, but you have to make the decision not to give up. And you have to believe that there's happiness out there. But you're never going to reach the happiness until you step away from all the shitty stuff. And you're the only one who can give yourself permission to do that. Because there will be people who are telling you, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's okay. It's okay. I'm sure he loves you. I'm sure, with my marriage. Oh my gosh, no, don't get divorced. Don't get divorced. Yeah, sure, sometimes you all have problems, but he's so crazy about you. And my ex-husband would tell everybody like how crazy he was about me. Fast forward to us in the car for 2 hours and me trying to convince him not to cut me up. So you have to listen to your intuition. You have to listen to your gut. You have to stop waiting for the people around you to take a situation seriously or to believe you. You know what you know, and that's it. And you have to give yourself permission to distance yourself from people and situations that are making you feel the opposite of what you want to feel. All right, Max is at the door. Oh, Bubba's, it's okay, baby. So, you're the only one who can give yourself permission to do that. I know this was like a long tangent. I'm sorry, but and those of you who stuck it out and who listened, thank you. I appreciate you. I hope that it's helpful for you. And I just want to say I'm not here someone that's just being a Pollyanna and saying, oh, look on the bright side, it's going to get better. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Okay, but this 10 of Cups is possible. And you're closer to it than you realize. Okay? Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a fabulous day. I hope you have a fabulous weekend ahead. Whether you're doing, whatever you may be doing it this weekend coming up, having fun, doing nothing, whatever it may be. And I will see you all in tomorrow's message. Take care and be well.